Welcome. You've joined us for another deep dive, and today we're setting our sights on the really vibrant world of 2025 fashion colors.
Yeah, and we've got some great sources lined up. We're pulling from articles right here on Unfiltered Dose, also Camille Styles, and some really practical advice from Heather Anderson, you know, Fashion Over 40 on YouTube.
Right. So our goal today really is to give everyone listening a clear but also engaging look at the key color trends shaping up for next year.
And maybe more importantly, help figure out how you might actually bring these shades into your own wardrobe. We're kind of looking at it all the way from the runway down to, real life.
Exactly. Get that full picture. And what's really jumping out, I think, is this idea of a pastel renaissance.
hmm
Now, pastels, you often think springtime, maybe a bit delicate, but 2025 seems to be shaking that up.
Totally. These softer colors are becoming like sophisticated essentials. They're moving beyond just one season.
Yeah, I think like elevating them with sharper tailoring, maybe more luxurious fabrics. It feels much more deliberate, more grown up.
Right. And what's fascinating is how they're playing softness against, well, against a bit of an edge.
Ooh, okay.
Or
That.
like pairing those gentle tones with maybe unexpected textures
Hmm.
or really modern shapes. It creates something really contemporary and kind of intriguing.
Interesting. And the Unfiltered Dose article, which, as we said, is right here on the site, really zeroes in on 5 key pastels that are just like everywhere on the runways.
Yeah, they crunch the numbers. Pistachio Gelato, Butter Yellow, Cotton Candy Pink, Lavender Shortbread, and Powder Blue.
Wow. Okay.
Apparently showing up in, what was it, 78% of the major
So
collections.
78%. That's
I
huge.
know. And you're seeing them from the big players, Chloé, Chanel.
Yeah,
It really shows their influence.
definitely. Okay, so let's maybe dive into them one by one, starting with pistachio gelato. Sounds yummy, but how does that work in clothes?
Well, the thing about Pistachio Gelato is it's surprisingly versatile. Yeah, it's a soft green, but it's kind of moved beyond just being, like the ice cream.
Right.
It's acting more like a sophisticated neutral. Less sweet treat, more subtle, almost earthy. Works in loads of different ways.
Okay. The Unfiltered Dose piece mentions some cool examples, like Chloe using it for patent leather jackets. That sounds chic.
Oh, yeah. And Fendi putting it into accessories, which makes it feel really easy to try.
Yeah, totally. But it's not just high fashion, is it? The article talks about real commercial success.
Oh, absolutely. The numbers are pretty telling. Unfiltered Dose points out a like 42% jump year over year in outerwear sales just in this specific green.
Wow, 42%.
Yeah, that's a big shift. And it mentions specific things like a Nordstrom utility jacket, some mango trousers,
Yeah.
best-selling items. So it's definitely resonating beyond the runway.
Across different price points, too.
Exactly.
And it's interesting how these trends often connect to bigger things, right? Like the article links it to the quiet gardening movement.
hmm And Gen Z apparently leaning towards these sort of nature-inspired neutrals.
Yeah, it makes sense. This muted green kind of taps into that vibe, doesn't it? That
Yeah,
subtle, organic feel.
totally.
So, okay, if someone's listening and thinking, pistachio gelato, how would you suggest styling it?
Well, for a really polished look for the office, pairing it with charcoal gray tailoring could be fantastic. Just adds that subtle hint of color.
Nice.
Or if you want to be a bit bolder, maybe contrast it with something like burnt orange. That could be really dynamic.
Okay, cool ideas. Right, moving on. Butter yellow. Now, Unfiltered Dose calls this the new essential neutral for 2025. That's a big statement.
It is, but when you look at it, it kind of makes sense. Butter yellow is warm, it's golden. It brings that optimism without feeling childish.
Right, not too sweet.
Exactly. It hits that sweet spot between joyful and well-refined.
And designers seem to be really into it. The Unfiltered Dose piece notes, they like matte finishes, like in cashmere knits, linen blends.
Yeah, Kate Zimmerman, that matte texture definitely gives it a more sophisticated edge, doesn't it? Elevates it.
Mm-hmm. And apparently it's not just women's wear.
Nope. Seeing a pretty noticeable jump, like 29% in butter yellow shirts and menswear, too. Think Chloe. Bought her.
Interesting. So it's broadening its appeal.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think bigger picture, Pantone talked about optimistic pragmatism for, post-pandemic consumers. This color kind of fits that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Hopeful, but also grounded.
Yeah, I can see that. So for our listeners, if they're thinking about butter yellow, how could they wear it?
Well, one really elegant approach is going tonal. Pair it with accessories in maybe ecru or mocha mousse. That feels very intentional, very chic.
Okay.
Or, if you're feeling a bit more adventurous, maybe layer it under something really vibrant like fuchsia outerwear.
Yeah.
That could be a really cool, unexpected contrast.
Bold. Okay, next up, cotton candy pink. Now, this color, it definitely has some strong, maybe traditionally feminine vibes, right?
For sure.
So how's 2025 flipping that script?
This is where it gets really interesting, I think. Cotton candy pink is really being transformed. It's kind of shedding that super sweet image and becoming a shade that feels stronger, more versatile.
How so?
Designers are deliberately using unexpected shapes and fabrics.
Like the unfiltered dose examples. Balmain doing neoprene moto jackets in pink.
Exactly. Not what you immediately picture, right?
Definitely not. And Brandon Maxwell's silk column dresses, still elegant, but that pink gives them a whole different feel. It seems like the contrast in materials is key.
Totally key. Unfiltered dose highlights that. Like 58% of the runway pieces mixing cotton candy pink used elements that were either really fragile or kind of rugged.
Oh, interesting.
Think Magda Bertram's steel bone corsets, but in this soft pink. It's that deliberate mix, taking the soft color, giving it structure, maybe a bit of toughness.
Right, that juxtaposition again. And who's buying it is also telling, apparently.
Yeah, it's fascinating that the 35 to 44 age group is apparently really driving purchases, especially in evening wear at places like Saks.
Wow, so definitely moving beyond just younger shoppers.
hmm And the article connects it to the Barbiennial art movement, which is a neat point about how culture shifts our view of colors.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, okay, styling this new, maybe more assertive pink.
Well, one way to ground it is maybe pair a pink top with something like olive green cargo pants. Balances the softness with that utilitarian feel.
Okay, I like that.
Or, for a more streamlined look, go monochromatic. Play with different pink textures and shades together. That can look really powerful.
Cool. Okay, let's talk Lavender Shortbread. The name alone sounds lovely. What's the deal with this one?
Lavender Shortbread is being called out as maybe the most adaptable pastel for 2025. It's just incredibly versatile. Works for day, works for evening.
Okay.
And what's also interesting is its growing appeal across gender lines. And there's a strong link to sustainability here, too.
Ah, okay. The runway examples seem pretty adaptable, too. Chloe's patent trenches and lavender pricey, but definitely a statement.
For sure. And Stella McCartney using it in biodegradable satin dresses. That really highlights the eco-focus.
Yeah, and it's moving beyond just clothes.
Right. Unfiltered Dose noted a 33% jump in sales of lavender gemstones, light amethysts, sapphires, often in recycled gold.
Oh, wow.
So the appreciation for the shade is broader. And the tech side is interesting too. New sustainable dyeing methods are making it easier to get these nice pastels and eco-fabrics like hemp and bamboo.
That's great progress. And the global appeal, mentioning lavender suits in India doing well.
Yeah, a 67% sales boost really shows it resonates widely.
Okay, so how could someone listening work this versatile violet into their look?
Well, for work, maybe a sheer lavender blouse layered over a graphite turtleneck. That could be really chic and modern.
Mm-hmm.
Or for a more spring-like feel, pairing it with pistachio gelato accessories like we talked about earlier could be really fresh and lovely.
Nice combo. Okay. Last of the main five, powder blue. This feels like a classic pastel, right?
It definitely is. But 2025 is sort of reimagining it across all kinds of price points and styles. Certainly not just for baby clothes anymore.
Ha! No. The examples show that Armani's elegant gowns, but also Orly's cozy cable knits. Seems like fabric innovation is big here, too.
Huge. Unfiltered Dose says like 72% of the powder blue pieces on runways use temperature-regulating fabrics.
Like C-cell, Tencel.
Exactly. So they're not just pretty, they're actually really practical and comfortable for different climates.
Smart. And commercially, it's doing well, too. Revolve's powder blue denim sold out quickly.
Yeah, seems like there's strong demand.
And the wellness connection is interesting. The blue mind idea, tranquility. Makes sense it's popular in loungewear.
Totally. That calming vibe.
So styling powder blue for 2025.
Well, you could lean into that whole coastal grandmother aesthetic that's popular, paired with ecru fisherman sweaters. Very relaxed, very chic. Or, for a more modern, maybe city feel, contrast it with sharp, structured blazers in neutral colors.
Cool. Okay, so that covers the core five from Unfiltered Dose. But the Camille Styles article gives us an even wider view, right? What other colors should we be watching?
Yeah, Camille Styles adds a few more key ones to the mix. Pale pink, eggshell ecru, earthy olive, mocha mousse, which you mentioned, Pantone's color of the year, and deep burgundy.
Okay, let's touch on those. Pale pink. Sounds maybe related to cotton candy pink, but different.
Yeah, Camille Styles describes it as more powdery, more sophisticated, less bright, maybe less bubblegum.
Right.
They really emphasize its versatility. Styling-wise, they suggest pairing it with richer browns or grays in winter, then creams and whites in warmer weather, and trying it in tailored pieces like blazers or trousers for that sophisticated twist.
Gotcha. Eggshell ecru sounds like a dream neutral.
Oh, absolutely. That perfect warm, creamy off-white,
Mm.
softer than stark white, but just as versatile. Camille Styles nails it, calling it a wear with anything foundation piece. Works with everything else we're talking about.
Perfect. And earthy olive. Feels like it connects back to pistachio gelato a bit.
It does. It's presented as a fresh, kind of grounded alternative to your standard neutrals. Rich, muted. They use the phrase dirty martini, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
Suggest swapping it in for brown sometimes, especially in utility jackets, slouchy pants, leather bags. Gives a modern feel.
Nice. Okay, and Mocha Mousse Pantone's big pick.
Yep, that warm, inviting brown. Pantone calls it thoughtful indulgence.
Ooh, fancy.
Right. But it's super versatile, pairs easily with the pastels and richer jewel tones. Camille Styles highlights it for leather goods, outerwear, knits, and notes the trend for those chic all-brown tonal outfits.
Love a tonal look. And finally, deep burgundy. Sounds dramatic.
It is. More moody, richer than previous reds. Think sultry, sophisticated, almost merlet or plum territory.
Okay.
Camille Styles suggests it's perfect for accessories, bags, shoes to just instantly elevate an outfit with a bit of drama.
Great additions from Camille Styles there. Now, let's quickly bring in Heather Anderson's YouTube video, The Fashion Over 40 Perspective. Her focus is really practical, right? Age inclusive.
Totally. Her main point is super encouraging. All these trends, including the colors, are wearable and stylish no matter your age. She highlights 5 key spring trends: elevated loungewear, maxi dresses, baby blue, ladylike jackets, and butter yellow.
And she shows how to wear them, right? Like actual outfits.
Exactly, which is so helpful. For elevated loungewear, she pairs like a cashmere baseball hat with a jean jacket and joggers. Looks comfy, but still put together. For maxi dresses, she throws that same denim jacket over a simple t-shirt maxi. Easy. For baby blue, she shows a soft cardigan with a maxi skirt. Ladylike jacket, she styles a pink tweed jacket, both as a set and more casually with a midi skirt.
Nice versatility.
Yeah. And for butter yellow, she features an affordable dress with a white crop jacket and also a butter yellow bomber. It's all about showing how wearable and chic these trends actually are in real life.
That's so great. Really makes it feel achievable. Okay, let's circle back to something important from the Unfiltered Dose article. Material innovation and sustainability. Why is that such a big part of this color story?
It's absolutely crucial. Unfiltered Dose really emphasizes that the evolution in these pastels isn't just about the shades themselves. It's deeply linked to advances in textiles.
Okay.
These innovations are what allow softer colors to be used in new ways, making them more durable, giving them different textures, and importantly, reducing the environmental hit.
And sustainability is a huge driver then.
Oh, definitely. Sustainable dyes are a big focus. The industry's pushing hard to cut water waste, use fewer harsh chemicals, partly because regulations, like from the EU, are getting stricter.
Right.
So producing these lovely pastels is becoming more eco-friendly.
And the textures you mentioned earlier, that's part of the innovation too.
Yes, that contrast is key to the modern feel. Think glossy patent leather next to recycled polyester, or biodegradable satins alongside those temperature-regulating fabrics like C-cell or Tencel.
All in these soft colors.
Exactly. It adds depth, makes them more practical year-round, and again, seeing this across different price points makes the trend way more accessible.
Got it. The Unfiltered Dose piece also mentioned something called the pastel paradox. What's that about?
It's kind of highlighting the interesting tensions within the trend. Like, on one hand, you have this big push for sustainability in fashion, but on the other hand, there's still this love for opulent textures, luxurious looks. So it's balancing those things.
Okay.
And also maybe nostalgia, like the retro feel of butter yellow versus futurism, maybe seen in how lavender is paired with advanced materials or techie gemstone settings.
Interesting mix. And the multifunctionality you talked about, that seems key to their lasting power.
Totally. These pastels aren't just seen as like a quick spring fling anymore. They're bridging seasons, becoming more like timeless investment pieces.
Which fits with people wanting more conscious wardrobes.
Exactly. Brands know this, so they're focusing on those eco dyes, meeting consumer demand for ethical fashion. And the appeal is broad across markets, demographics, and it makes them really versatile additions.
So wrapping this all up for everyone listening, what's the main takeaway from this whole 2025 color deep dive?
I think the key thing is that the 2025 palette is really diverse, it's sophisticated, but crucially, it's very wearable. Pastels are definitely front and center, but they're not the fleeting, super sweet pastels of the past.
Right. They're being elevated.
Exactly. Through new materials, interesting textures, versatile styling, they're becoming genuine essentials for a modern wardrobe.
We saw those 5 core pastels from Unfiltered Dose, Pistachio Gelato's versatility, Butter Yellow is that optimistic neutral, Cotton Candy Pink finding strength, Lavender Shortbread the adaptable bridge, and Powder Blue the reimagined classic.
hmm And then Camille styles broaden the view with pale pink, eggshell ecru, earthy olive, mocha mousse, and deep burgundy. Gave us the full spectrum.
And Heather Anderson showed us how practical and age-inclusive styling these colors can actually be.
Yeah, really brought it down to earth.
So as you, our listener, think about 2025 and maybe refreshing things, we hope this gives you some good ideas. Consider how these trends might fit your style. Maybe it's just a pop of pastel and an accessory, or maybe you go full monochromatic.
There really is something for everyone, isn't there? A shade, a style.
Definitely. Which brings us maybe to a final thought to chew on.
Ooh, okay.
With designers pushing boundaries like this, mixing colors, textures, focusing on sustainability, could these 2025 trends signal something bigger? A longer-term shift in how we think about fashion?
You mean like moving away from just fast, fleeting fads?
Yeah. Towards maybe more conscious choices, building wardrobes that are expressive, sure, but also designed to last, both in style and, their impact.
That's a really interesting question to end on. Are we seeing a shift towards more thoughtful consumption through these trends? Definitely something to ponder.